Okay, hello everybody. Farmer Caleb here, making my debut on the Common Ground farm. Um, just wanted to check in with another update from the garden. We're exploring how to create an opportunity to share what's happening here more with our community, and especially I think for myself being a new farmer, getting to share the joy and the learning of what it means to be farming, to be gardening. And So we want to kind of invite you along for the journey a little bit. And to me, the experience of learning to garden is the experience of learning to be a conductor of the symphony, a garden symphony, a plant symphony. And there's been so much learning about this sort of crescendos, overlapping arcs of the different vegetables and when to start things and when each thing needs its attention. So we thought it'd be nice to kind of invite you into that journey a little bit and see the sequence of things, because everything is sort of a longer arc than maybe you might imagine. So anyways, here we are in February, an exciting moment when we sort of start to feel the beginning of spring, but we're still sort of on this threshold. We're still getting nights in the 20s, but days in the 60s, and that actually makes for an interesting growing challenge to be giving the plants what they need without them getting too hot or getting too cold at night. So that's sort of where we are in the cycle, right on the threshold of when things really start to pick up for spring and trying to get ready for that. So some of the things that might be happening at this time in general in February, some of the earlier things you can start indoors or in a tunnel or a greenhouse of sorts, be some of our brassicas, broccolini we've got going, for example, one of our favorites. Baby pak choi we've got started in flats. And something we started this week is our peas, the first spring peas. So that's our sort of nod and prayer to the arrival of spring, getting to start some peas. We've got our fingers crossed that those will take off. Yeah, so this is a time, we're making it through winter and just starting to look towards spring, getting some of those early starts going. And then things, of course, will really start to pick up in March and April, with as soon as we cross that line and the end of the first frost. So many things are going on the ground. But yeah, in this moment also, as you may have noticed in our last newsletter, there's a smaller availability of plants, and want to just acknowledge that we're still in that tunnel of winter. We're finally getting some warm days, which are making a big difference. But it just seems like that cold snap paired with some early rodent pressure just made this a challenging winter for us. So we appreciate everyone bearing with us, and we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, and also maybe one other piece to share about what's been going on in the garden these past weeks is doing a lot of bed prep in preparation for that sort of big flush of activity that's going to come in the spring. And we've been really starting to try and use practices of minimal soil disturbance, really starting to tend to the soil microbiology of the garden here, which means that we're doing a lot of bed prep now without tillage, and then letting the beds rest and sort of settle in preparation for planting into the spring. And so rather than coming in right before we're going to plant, doing a tilling, and then planting into that soil, we're preparing beds now using a broad fork, which is a much lighter kind of disturbance, getting that compost in there and ready to plant in the spring, so we can have all kinds of delicious veggies to share together. So thanks for being part of this, and let's see what we keep growing.